Hello and welcome to Beyond the Box Art. The first episode, we're going to be looking at the black coaches that I painted for Motor City Ray back in, I want to say, July, about this time 2 years ago, so 2023. And we're just going to roll the footage and I'm going to be talking about it for a little bit. If I run out of gas, then I'll just skip to the next bit or we'll end the video. Enjoy. So this is the first of the two. We painted two of these for Ray and he destroys people on the table with them, as far as I know. Painted them in their kind of respective components. So I kept all of the entourage and I kept the coach separate from the horses, the rider separate from the coach, and the entourage at the back, and even the coffin and its even the coffin and its habitant. That is probably the word I'm looking for. I'm sure I'll get better at these off-the-cuff videos. Anyway, it's plenty of footage to absorb this waffle, and probably not appropriate. Anyway, painted it separately, had the coach separated off from the horses, had the riders separated off, and the entourage and the coffin and its contents separated off. The bases were all kind of built separately. Every component was effectively painted separately, and to some degree in batches. So when I sort of painted the rider and the entourage, I did them together. I did the blue-green together. I did that mostly with airbrush and just a couple of little bits of edge highlighting, and that's basically the black to green done. Very simple, very quick. Then obviously picked out details. Everything else was done by hand. Did the coaches first, so do the actual container for the coffin. The cabin for the coffin. What is it? What do they call that? What is the coach? What is the back of the coach? The coach wagon? Sure, let's call it the wagon. That was done first. It was just a quick overbrush, I think, or possibly dry brush with dryad bark over the top of black, or possibly rhinox hide, maybe something very dark, and then just edge highlighted and picked out any obvious grains of wood with, I'm not really sure. Do you know what we might have used? We may have used contrast paints actually on quite a lot of these. Thinking about it, everything that wasn't airbrushed, and the airbrushing is more or less the cloaks, the main bodies of the ghosts, as it were, and the horses. Everything else was potentially done with contrast paints and just mixing something in, some higher value color like Iraqi sand or something. Certainly didn't use sunny skin tone. Either way, I do have footage of the process. I don't know if I captured an entire one of these models of the two. But I do hope and plan to put these up on Patreon at some point. So yeah, we've got a little bit of green. The whip goes slightly green at the end, makes it look like there's a little energetic snap occurring as it whips out and cracks. Obviously got gold non-metallics. I believe we used Reaper's non-metallic golds and maybe a bit of ivory from AK to do those. I think it's quite likely that all of the black grey steel was probably basilicanum grey and then just edge highlighted with ivory. Here's the second one. And you can see I use the mausoleum box in order to kind of put these bases together. The idea with this one is that it sort of shows that it's a phantasm in the way that its right front wheel is about to hit the building, and I've done like these layers of ripples around it, around the base, and just around that part of the wheel as it's hitting the building to make it look like it's just going to phase through it, basically, and it's not exactly adhering to the normal rules of reality. So that was the concept behind that. Also gave me a very convenient place to stick the model and secure it and give it a bit more support, as this needed to travel overseas to America. Both of them, whilst they're the same kit and they are meant to be built the same way, and it doesn't give you much variance beyond the rider, I believe, whether or not he's got the scythe and the cracking whip, or if he's just got his hands out in a creepy way. There's really no other variation in the kit. So one of the things that I did was used a little bit of like candle flame heat to help to manipulate some of the areas of the model, especially around the horses, to change the kind of arc that the carriage is being pulled from. I don't know how else to explain that. That was a word hole mess. But yeah, there's a different shape ultimately to both of them, so that they not only look distinct with the colours, which was also trying to keep within an actual style for the army, but also, you know, like we wanted to have variance between the two, but we wanted it still to fit in the army that it was going into. So we managed to do that, and obviously this one is red and more on the cold side of the blue, more of the blue from the black to the blue, whereas the other one is more purple and green, I would say. Otherwise, they're more or less painted in exactly the same way. So, and I will say, I thoroughly enjoyed painting these models. I would paint another 2 of them tomorrow. They were a lot of fun. So if anyone wants some nicely painted coaches, then hit us up. There are links in the description. So we should, I think in the not too distant future, probably see... No, it's not going to show me how much longer is left on the on the glamour roll right now of these. I think we're sort of reaching the last little section where we show them both together. Did a tiny little bit of OSL from the lanterns on parts of like the seat armchair and the wood behind it, but it's very subtle. Did a bit of verdigris on the tops of the roofs for the mausoleum building there. And here they are together, which is nice. I think I had some issues with colour balancing, and I wish I'd taken some better photography. In fact, I wish I'd taken them with what will be a future background. You'll be seeing more black backgrounds in the future. So obviously it's a very dark couple of models. Like as a whole, they are majority in the lower value of the scale, as it were, in the lower 50% of value rather than upper, with all the dark woods and with all of the dark bodies before it trails off into greens and blues. They're very dark pieces, so I'm not sure whether or not a black background would have been a good idea. Jimmy would have told me that a white background is the best. I gotta say, there is a certain vividness to them, and had I balanced the white properly on my phone when I filmed this at the time, then I'm sure it would have been fine. Anyway, the whole point of these videos is really to direct you to my commission services. If you're interested, I paint painted miniatures. I paint miniatures for commission. And I've got a lot of satisfied customers and people who love the work that they've had done for me. And I'm looking to pick up a few more commissioners. So if you're interested, we, not like deliberately or anything, but we have lower overheads than some other studios. I'll just put it like that. and we might be able to do you a better price from Beyond the Box Art than elsewhere. So join the Discord, join the Ko-Fi, and hopefully I'll hear from you in the future. We paint anything. It doesn't have to be Age of Sigmar. It doesn't have to be Death. I will put my hand to anything. We recently did some Thousand Suns, which we'll be showing off on the channel soon. And we did like a Mutaleth Vortex Beast, which is pretty close to box art. And we managed to offer that at a pretty good price. So just, if you're interested, do hit me up. Check out the links below. I hope you enjoyed this little show off of some of my painted minis, or some of the minis I've painted for commission. This is the first in a series. We won't just be doing videos like this on Beyond the Box Art. We will be doing other things. Not exactly sure what. I know that I want to produce a how to take care of your brushes video on here that's different to the one that I did on the MiniMadCat channel. But yeah, keep your eyes tuned. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure to click on the links below. Make sure you subscribe. Click on the like button. Click on the bell. All of that. Thanks a lot. Take care. Question everything and have fun. If you enjoyed that episode of Beyond the Box Art, make sure to follow me on all my social medias. And if it pleases you to procure one of my painted pieces, you can peruse the eBay shop. And if you really enjoy the content, you can support me directly at ko-fi.com/beyondtheboxart.